Hi YouTube, I'm back. Yeah, it's been a crazy ride. To start, basically, I had my daughter. I just wanted to come on here and make this video to let everybody know everything's okay. My daughter's here, she's healthy. She's currently in the living room with my parents right now because they've been here, helping out a lot and stuff. So towards the end of the video, I will bring her in and let you guys see her. So yeah, to let you guys catch up and everything. I had her through C-section, which was very unexpected, and yeah, everything in that day was just totally unexpected. It was just a basic like turn of events through the whole day, like one after the other, literally. And it was on January 8th, and I had to go to my checkup appointments where I have the ultrasounds. Of course, they weigh her, they make sure everything's looking good, her amniotic fluid is looking good, everything like that. And the ultrasound technician was weighing her, and needless to say, she weighed more than expected at that time because I was only supposed to be 38 weeks. So she weighed in the ultrasound 9 pounds and 2 ounces at 38 weeks, which I will admit was not totally accurate because of her being so far into my pelvis, as they explained. They couldn't get a complete accurate measurement of weight on her, but close enough. Not only that, but like I said, I was supposed to be 38 weeks, and her gestational age week was actually measuring 41 compared to like her head and stuff. And so, yeah, there's just a lot going on. On top of that, her fluid level was at a 5.5 borderline low, which isn't too bad, but it's like getting to that point where, some intervention needs to be taken in order to prevent it from getting lower. So usually with your amniotic fluid, it's supposed to be like above 5. And if it's below 5, that means it's low, of course. So that's usually the reference they use. And like I said, hers was at a 5.5. So after we got done with the ultrasound, my doctor there wanted to talk to me. And of course, this isn't my OB. This is like the hospital doctor, the person, as they call a maternal doctor, who deals with patients who are high risk and stuff like that. So she talked to me and she was explaining I might have to be induced that day, but they wanted to put me on an NST monitor to make sure if that does need to happen, and see how the baby reacts. So if you've never been pregnant before, I'll explain what an NST monitor is. If you have and you've been on an NST monitor, then you know. But basically an NST monitor is a non-stress, it stands for a non-stress monitor test. And what they do is they put you in these straps around your belly, and it has monitors on it. They put one above your belly, like kind of towards like your breast, a little bit under your breast. And then they put one below, which would be where the baby's heartbeat would be, and it's a little bit below your belly button. So when they put you on this, basically what they're doing is monitoring the baby's movements and the baby's heart rate. And to do that, it just picks up the sound waves, of course. Like the monitor is like a heartbeat monitor, like a Doppler, but it's kind of different. The one that's above, though, I will admit, I was told that tracks the contractions. So if you, most of the time when you're getting an NST monitor checkup, it's when you're in the 3rd trimester, like towards your due date. So of course it would be to monitor if you have any contractions during the test as well. So if you are contracting, they know how often and what it looks like and stuff, and they can see it on the screen and the paper. So as I'm doing this, I was on there for about 20 minutes, and one of the nurses comes in that is working with my doctor, and she looks at me and she goes, "Have you been eating a lot of sweet tarts?" And I was like, "No, why?" And she explained to me that the reason she asked that is because the baby was acting like super hyperactive, like acting like they just ate a bunch of candy, basically. So she was telling me that the baby's heart rate was like, at first, when I first got on it, was going like super fast and all over the place. And then towards the end, she started to calm down more and she relaxed and she was fine. So because of that, my doctor and that nurse, they decided to go ahead and take extra measures and take me to triage. So triage is basically a course. If you had a baby, once again, you'll know, but this is for people who don't know. Triage course is basically like a labor and delivery emergency room. So when you go to triage, it's basically to make sure that everything is okay. If you're in labor, to make sure that, you know, nothing's happening. And they also put you on an NST monitor there to monitor. And then once everything is approved and okay and you're in active labor, they also check your cervix in there. But once you're in active labor, that's when you get up to a room and you are in the labor and delivery room. So while in triage, the nurse in there was checking me. I, of course, had to pee in a cup. I was in a gown at that moment now. And we were talking about the possibility of getting induced. And the nurse was telling me that it is most likely going to happen, but they wanted to call my OB first to make sure and approve with him if that's what he wants to do. So, of course, my OB is in a whole different office, which thankfully for me, the office where he's at was really close to the labor and delivery hospital where I was at in triage. So it wasn't that far for him to get there, and it wasn't that hectic. So initially they had called my OB, and my mother was with me at the time because my fiance was currently working. And so I got my mom to go with me to that appointment. So she was with me the whole time. And I was freaking out. Like, I was like, oh my God, I can't have this baby today. You know, I was only supposed to go in here and come out with pictures of her and not, you know, be told I'm going to have her today. So it was very nerve wracking. So I'm thankful my mom was there. But when they got the answer from my OB, to continue with that, my OB was like, yep, let's go ahead and induce her. It sounds like that's what needs to happen, just to take precautionary measures, just in case, you know, if we let her go further along, something happens. We want to prevent that. So the nurse comes back and lets me know it's approved. I had to, of course, take a COVID test. But it was the rapid result, so it came back in an hour, and she didn't really have to go up that far up my nose, which I was terrified of because I hate that. Because I've gotten the flu test before and they had to do that, and I literally almost beat up the nurse that did it. But this was a while back. This wasn't now. This was like last year. So yeah. We waited for that hour to pass, and then the nurse came back, told me my test was negative, and that they were going to put me now in a labor and delivery room. So once that was discussed, my mom was like, okay, well, I'll go ahead and just leave and go get Elijah, which is my fiance, and pick him up from work, tell him what's going on, which I knew once she did, he was going to freak out. And what's funny is Elijah kept telling me that he feels like when it's gonna happen, it's gonna be while he was at work. Well, that happened. So, I guess his intuition was pretty right on that. So yeah, my mom left, went to go pick him up, went to go get my hospital bags, everything like that, get everything together. And then I got up to my labor and delivery room, and Elijah got there, and we were just hanging out in the room. They had checked me, and I was at an effacement, which of course is where your cervix is getting ready to soften, but it's not quite dilated yet. So that's basically like the start of dilation, I guess, is when the baby's head is right there and they call it effacement, and it's starting to soften, but it's not softened all the way, and it's not dilated at all. So it was closed, of course, and they wanted to put me on something called Cytotec. And what Cytotec is basically a little pill, like little tiny pill that they put up you. You don't take it orally or anything. They literally put it up you, and with a adapter, and that is what helps to soften your cervix and get you induced to help you dilate. And then after that, they start Pitocin. So I was supposed to have 3 rounds of this stuff every 4 hours, and by the 8th hour, which was my second dose, I was pretty much contracting as if I was at a 10 centimeter. So the reason we knew this is because we had a screen, of course, that was by my bed that had all the logs of the baby's heartbeat, because I was on NST monitor still, in there, and then the contractions. So I got to see when I was contracting too, and it was happening very frequently. And it does have number scales for how severe or strong they are, and my numbers were at like 80s, in the 80s, and at one point they were at the 50s, and then they would go to the 80s and keep going up. So it was getting very strong. So the nurse wanted to check to see if maybe I was dilating really fast, and it was happening faster than they thought. So she checked, and unfortunately I was only dilated at a 1 centimeter, which was very abnormal, because at the contractions I was having, I should have at least been at least 8 centimeters, and so something wasn't right. I was not dilating like I was supposed to, and fast enough, and contractions were happening as if I was, so it was just a bunch of fiasco. So that nurse, of course, decided, let's stop the Cytotec. I'm gonna talk to your OB again and see what he wants to do, because if we start you on Pitocin, is not going to end up in a successful vaginal delivery. So we need to see what we need to do. So they stopped everything, let me relax, of course. And then she called my OB, and at that point my fiance was asleep, and they came in, or my nurse came in, and she had the phone with her, and she told me that my OB was on the phone and wanted to talk to me. And so I'm like, okay, hopefully this is good, because my fiance is asleep right now, and if it's not, well, he chose a really bad time to sleep. So I answered the phone, and I'm talking to him, and my OB says that he wants to do an emergency C-section. And my heart dropped so hard and fast. I could not believe what I was hearing. I was not only emotional, I was also upset because my fiance was asleep, and that was the worst news that I got that night, and something I did not want to hear. And I was terrified, basically. So yeah, they basically told me what we're gonna do. They were gonna, once my OB got there, he was gonna rush me into the OR, get the C-section done, and, you know, everything. So I woke up my fiance, I told him what's going on, and I was crying. I was bawling so hard, and I called my mom. I was on the phone with my mom, and I was crying so hard to her, and I was like, Mom, I don't know what to do. I'm so scared of being cut open. This is terrifying. And you know, the nurse and my mom were both trying to calm me down. Like, I was so upset. So yeah, well, Then once my OB got there, of course, we got to the OR. My fiance had to put on those, you know, the hat. I had to put on the hat. They had to put me back there, and I got back there, sat on the table. They did my epidural, which I will admit, you're probably gonna cringe at this part, because this part I can definitely say I shouldn't have done. And I'm thankful and grateful that nothing more severe happened. But when the anesthesiologist was putting in the epidural and everything, I jerked. I kind of moved a little bit. And I didn't do it because it hurt. It was because I don't know why, but even through the pregnancy, this would happen. But I would have like these really pressure feeling things in my back. Like it almost felt like the baby was pushing against my spine, my lower spine, and it would hurt. Like it was the biggest pressure pain ever. And I felt it right when he was putting in the needle in my back for the epidural. And I jerked. I did. I kind of jumped a little bit. And yeah, that wasn't good. So after that, they laid me on the table and of course did the C-section. During the C-section, I do remember them threatening to kind of put me to sleep because my heart rate started going up really high. I was kind of hyperventilating at that point and freaking out. And yeah, so it just got really chaotic. But I can definitely say it was worth it at the end because my daughter got here healthy and, you know, safely, and she was so beautiful, and she did not weigh 9 pounds and 2 ounces. She weighed 8 pounds and 6 ounces, but still a big baby for 38 weeks. But yeah, and she was 19 and a half inches long. My fiance got to cut the cord. We got pictures of it. And she was just the most perfect thing. As soon as we heard those cries, even though we couldn't see because the tarp was up, we just started bawling. And we knew she was out and she was okay. Me and my fiance both, he was standing behind me. And as soon as she started crying, we were crying. So, yeah, it was a magical experience afterwards. And nothing like I can ever explain. But yeah. As far as the healing process, I can say the first couple days were very hard. I could not get up on my own, let alone at all, hardly, and it was the most excruciating pain when I did try to get up. And I was not able to urinate for a day or so, so they had to pump me with IV fluids, which they put an IV right here in my arm, which I think is the weirdest place to put an IV, but whatever. So as soon as I did urinate and get to do that, they took me off the IV, and as days went on, I started getting better at walking on my own, and then I got sent home and discharged with her on the 11th. And she was born on the 9th. I forgot to mention that. She was born on the 9th at 7:40 in the morning. And then on the 11th, we got discharged. She got to meet my mom for the first time because my mom couldn't come up there because of COVID. Only one person could be with me. But yeah, she's here, guys. And that's why I wanted to make this video, just to update you guys and let you know she's here and tell you about my experience and everything. So I will be back. I'm gonna go get her so you guys can see her real quick. And yeah. All right, well, we have a baby. So here she is, guys. Oh goodness. She is 11 days old. So she's hit her 1 week mark, and it felt like it went by so fast, and her cord fell off on Sunday. So yeah, she's growing up fast already. It's sad. But her name is Alessandra Pearl Hoskins. But yep, she's here, guys, and she's perfect. And after this video, I'm going to put some pictures of when I was in labor with her and stuff, and her dad holding her, and when she was first born and stuff like that. But I got to change her diaper, so I'm going to end it at this. But I hope you guys have an amazing day, and thank you for following with me on my journey, even though I only posted a few videos. I tried to post as much as I could, but it was hard to get on that schedule, being pregnant and then unexpectedly having her. So, yeah. But we'll see you guys later. Thank you for watching, and I'm going to post more videos of updates with her and stuff, so be tuned, or stay tuned for those. But I love you guys, and we'll see you guys later. Say bye. Bye.
I keep a photograph in which we were in love, caught in your eyes, waiting for the sunrise. I barely even knew who you were. What did you do? I didn't care, 'cause you were perfect, I swear. But somebody told me that it's over. I know it's true. You made me happy for a while. I remember fleeting times when we slept on top of cars. Now I don't know you, you don't know me too. I remember fleeting times when we watched the sparks so fire. Now I don't know you, you don't know me too.
Don't stop just because I'm recording.
Stars shone in our eyes like the lights of fireflies. We were obsessed and we felt warmth in our chests. Your heart was full of dreams. It made you feel extreme. Give me a sign if you keep it in mind. But somebody told me that it's over. I know it's true. You made me happy for a while. I remember fleeting times when we slept on top of cars. Now I don't know you, you don't know me too. I remember fleeting times
Here we
when we
go.
watched the sparks so fire. Now I don't
No, 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 no. Finish cutting it.